Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel for another tips and tricks video. Today we are going to be doing something slightly different. We are going to be reviewing some of the Football Manager community's best tactics. So what I've done is I've gone on YouTube myself, I found some of these tactics, I've contacted some of these creators who have all accepted and want to be part of this video. So if you do want to check them out and go into a little bit more detail about their tactics, I'll link the videos where I found the tactic and also their socials in the description below. Please do go give them a sub, give them a follow on socials and stuff like that. It's just imperative to this this video that they all said yes, basically. So I'm really grateful that they all said yes. In short, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be loading them in to Football Manager. They're going to take control, well, I'm going to take control of the exact same team for the exact same season, exact same set of fixtures, as much as I can have in my power, and we're going to see how they get on. So let's jump into the game and we'll start with our first formation. So then guys, kicking things off, I wanted to say the club that I was going to be using. I thought Wolves would be a very good club, very good representation of a lot of different things that the formations will need to bring to the game. Obviously, Wolves in the 2019-2020 season have a very hectic schedule, so there's lots of games, lots of rotations, so I really wanted to test these formations out. Once we've gone through the season, I'm going to look at how they've got on, if they've won any silverware, what went well, what went badly, but also look at the goals scored and their win rate, goals per game, that sort of thing as well. So this is the save that I've got loaded up. As you can see, we're right at the start of the season with Wolves. As far as cup competitions go, I have no real say of that. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement the tactic, force it to happen, and then go on holiday for the entire season, come back in May and see what has happened. So this is the fixture set then, guys. Everton to end the season. It's a busy one. Obviously, they have a lot of competitions that they are fighting for. If I pull up the competitions page, it's not only the Premier League, Europa League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup as well. So it's going to be a very busy season. Let's get into this first tactic. Okay then guys, the first tactic that we are going to run today is Mainomai FM's back attack. Now I've seen unbelievable reviews of this tactic already on Football Manager and within the Football Manager community, so I really wanted to test it out for myself. Looking at the formation, you can see here it's using that sort of false back line and using the wing backs as the main point of attack. Obviously, you've got the sweeper keeper as well, two two ball playing defenders, and the halfback who I assume will slot in between them to make a back three, allowing the fullbacks, the wing backs in this instance, to push on. Down the wings, you've got a deep line playmaker, an attacking playmaker, two inside forwards, and a advanced forward. Now, personally, I think Wolves are very well suited to this. I'm not going to go through all the instructions and all the stuff like that. If you want to do that, go over to Mainomai FM's channel, check out his back attack video, which will be linked in the description. Okay then guys, here we are at the end of the season for the back attack. I'm really interested to see how they got on, but the first thing I have noticed is that they have won. Wolves have won the Premier League, and not only have they won the Premier League, they've won it by 4 points by the looks of things. Raul Jimenez, top goal scorer for the club with 35 goals this season. João Moutinho, highest average rating with also the most assists at 23 himself. Dendoncker, highest pass completion. You'd assume he's going to occupy that halfback role a lot of the time. Yes, it looks like it's been a phenomenal season here for Wolves. First things first, let's check out the Premier League table. There we go. So yeah, Wolves win the league. 28 wins out of their 38 games played. That's unreal. 5 draws, 5 losses. Scored the second most in the league by the looks of things, only behind Liverpool in that respect. Is there any teams that they absolutely battered? Norwich and Newcastle both conceding 8. Ouch. Scoring 5 against Man City as well. 6 against Manchester United. That's unreal. That is unreal. Conceded 29 in the Premier League. That is the second best in the league. Yeah, just behind Manchester City. 4 points clear, as we mentioned. Goal difference of plus 48, which is tied with Man City. That looks unreal. Other things of note in this save by the looks of things are Bournemouth in the Europa League instead of being relegated. Chelsea look like they've had a poor season down in 9th. Teams that are relegated, Norwich, Crystal Palace and Watford. Norwich looking like they had a pretty tough time of it. So let's jump into the all the competitions and see how they got on in the Europa League, FA Cup and what's the other one? The Carabao Cup. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's been an unreal season for Wolves. Winning the Premier League, they were only expected to qualify for the Europa League, so sort of excelled in that. Looks like they've been top most of the season as well. First, second, third. Dropped down to third a little bit and then back up to top at the end towards the end of the season. They've also won the Europa League, guys. That is unreal. Raul Jimenez scoring 13 goals in the Europa League. That's very impressive. Best player pretty much across the board is Jean Moutinho. Most assists in the Premier League, most assists in the Europa League as well. That's an amazing result. They were also runners-up in the Emirates FA Cup, which, depending on what their run-in was like, I think that's a very, very respectable achievement. I don't know who they were playing against in the final. I'll jump into their schedule in a minute and we will work things out. And then knocked out the Carabao Cup in the third round by Preston North End. That's kind of where the season is not great, but obviously maybe not having the Carabao Cup fixtures in there didn't pile up their season, allowing them to be at the top of the Premier League. So if we jump into the schedule, I want to start at the start, obviously. So naturally, they qualified for the Europa League pretty easily, as you would expect. Started the Premier League season off against Liverpool with a 1-0 win. Ruben Neves getting the goal, going through against Utrecht, battering. Hold on. Let me just filter this by competitions, and we will just filter it by the Premier League first. Let's just look at the Premier League. So Premier League. It's a very good start to the season, losing their first game in October to Spurs, not scoring as well. Looks like this team doesn't concede a lot. Didn't concede against Liverpool, which is obviously one of the powerhouse teams. Clean sheet against Everton, hammered Norwich. Raul Jimenez scoring 5 in that game. Wow. First loss of the season, as I said, comes to Spurs in October. Put together a nice little run here. Good November, pretty good December as well. Losing to Arsenal, drawing with Villa. So the draws against Villa and the draw up here against Southampton, probably not the best. But there we go, never mind. Losing to Liverpool at Anfield, no shame in that. Adama Traore getting sent off in the 5th minute there is probably going to have a big part to play. But Divock Origi only scoring in the 89th minute. So yeah, not bad. Losing away at Stamford Bridge as well. That's a horrendous back-to-back there. Away at Anfield, away at Stamford Bridge. They get things back on track. Nice victory against Arsenal, beat Palace. Drawn against Bournemouth, which I would say in isolation is probably not good. But obviously you need to remember that Bournemouth qualified for the Europa League this season. Beat Burnley, beat Brighton. Another loss to Manchester United down here. They must have secured the title somewhere in May. It is tighter than you would anticipate. So yeah, really good run in the Premier League. Let's take a look at the other competition that they won then, which was the Europa League. Let's fire this up. So got through nicely, beat Utrecht. I think, yeah, that's still qualifying. So they go into the group against AZ Alkmaar, Sparta Prague, and Club Bruges. Drew twice with Bruges, very interesting. And then would have qualified. First knockout round they played Celtic, lost 1-0 away but won 3-0 at home, so that's not bad. Into the second knockout round then, and they beat Copenhagen, FC Copenhagen 3-1 twice, away and at home, very nice there. Before taking out Red Bull Salzburg, winning 3-0 in the away game. Willy Bolly popping up. Willy Bolly loves the Europa League. 92nd minute goals in both these games here. But then lost 2-0 at home, which is a strange one. If you win 3-0 away in the Europa League, you'd think you'd win the home leg as well. Not to be. Then they faced English competition in the semi-final, taking out Arsenal 3-1 at home. Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez with 2 as well. And then losing 3-2 away, but obviously the aggregate victory was enough. Jimenez on the score sheet again. And then the cup final absolutely dominated Sporting. If we look at the match stats, yeah, buried them effectively. 3 clear-cut chances to 2. Looks like Sporting tried to go relatively defensive by the looks of things. A cautious 4-3-3. 3-4-3 even, sorry. Just that's a lot of pressure on the forwards, isn't it? Interesting to see the shape that they did play in the final. Patricio in goal. Adama Traore is the right wing back. Connor Cody, Willy Bolly, Johnny, Saez, Neves, and I don't know who this is. Bruno Jordao. Cool. Don't know who that is. Neto, who I would have assumed did pretty well. In my save, he's flying at Real Madrid, so you would have assumed he's done pretty well. Jimenez and Podence. Looking like a very good team for Wolves there. Very good win in the final. Now let's take a look at the FA Cup. Emirates FA Cup. Let's see what their journey to the final was like. So 3rd round taking on Villa. So Premier League team. Premier League teams all the way through, and not the easiest of runs as well. Beat Villa 3-2. Beat West Ham 5-4. That looks like an absolute cracker of a game. 2-1s against Everton and Manchester United. Toppling Arsenal in the semi-finals after extra time. What happened in this game? So Ruben Neves opens the scoring. Pepe equalises. Neto puts them a goal ahead. Martinelli equalises. And Diego Jota scoring the winner in the 115th minute to send them to Wembley, where they take on Liverpool. And Divock Origi scores again, breaking Wolves' hearts from denying them what could have been a phenomenal treble. Okay then guys, so I'm just going to consult my notes because I've worked out how they've got on all season. So for the back attack, they have played 67 games. They have won 47 of those games, giving them an impressive win-loss ratio of 70%. It's very, very good, very consistent. They scored 137 goals, giving them a goals per game of just over 2, which is 2.04. But the main stat that I've seen from them is that they didn't really concede a lot of goals. They conceded 60 goals, which gives them a goals conceded per game of 0.89, which is phenomenal if you've played FM. Obviously, this it's Wolves. They're in the Premier League. They're going to come up against some of these big hitters. So to concede less than a goal a game, I think is fantastic. They've won the league, they've won the Europa League, semi-finalists in the FA Cup. It's been a phenomenal season using the back attack. Okay then, so the second shape that we are going to take a look at is the Reckonist Maldini doesn't tackle. I think this is quite a nice formation again. It's a variation of a 4-4-2. Obviously, you've got the wing backs, you've got the ball playing defenders, the sweeper keeper again, a deep line playmaker, box to box midfielder, 2 inverted wingers, a deep line forward and an advanced forward. It's going to be a very interesting one, this. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one gets on. Obviously named after Maldini, so you're hoping that it's going to be a pretty solid defensive formation, and hopefully it fits Wolves and Wolves can fit into the style and it works pretty well. As I mentioned before, guys, if you want to actually check out a more in-depth review of the actual shape itself rather than just how it does, please do make sure you visit these people's channels and their videos in my description. So here we are with Maldini doesn't. So here we are with the Reckonist. Maldini doesn't tackle. I can already see that there's a few differences from the last save. So first things first, Wolves finished 7th in the table. Not too bad at all, as you kind of would expect. They are sort of battling out for the Europa League, which is where they were predicted to be. The one big shock for me is Crystal Palace finishing in 5th, even with a minus goal difference. That's ludicrous. Player stats, you can look at Diego Jota is the top goal scorer for the team. João Moutinho, highest average rating in terms of concurrent ratings. Most assists is Podence again. Best pass completion in this formation is, interestingly, Rui Patricio. So if we open up the full Premier League table, we can take a look at how things have gone. Man City won the league, 89 points, which is a nice points tally. Also scored 92 goals as well, which is absolutely disgusting. Plus 62 in terms of goal difference. Wolves scored 64 and Wolves scored 77 and conceded 64 with a goal difference of plus 13, 56 points again. As I said, it's not a bad return. It's a big season for Wolves, this. The only real anomaly in this one for me is Crystal Palace being in 5th. But if that were Tottenham, for instance, I don't think anyone will bat any eyelids. Teams relegated in this one: Newcastle, Southampton and Burnley. So yeah, it's been an interesting one. Obviously not as impressive as Mainomai FM's double winning season. But it is where Wolves are expected to be. So if we jump into the other competitions, let's see how they got on. So they were knocked out in the second knockout round of the Europa League by AS Roma. That is a tough fixture. Broad expectation for the Premier League was to finish in the top half, and they achieved that. They finished in 7th. They qualified for the Europa League. Knocked out the Europa League at the expectation, at the rank they were expected to be. Finished as runners-up of the FA Cup again, seeing that again, and then knocked out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by Manchester City. Again, no one's going to be too upset about that. So if we jump into the Premier League, then it's been a very mixed bag for this Wolves team. Lots of goals conceded as well, though. Liverpool doing Liverpool things here. Wijnaldum own goal, pulling the game level after scoring at the right end 5 minutes beforehand. Just classic FM. Lost to Newcastle. Considering they got relegated, that's going to be a tough one. However, Almiron scoring in the 95th minute. I think you have to look at that and just be like, FM's killing me here. Draws with Manchester United and Everton, not too bad. The loss to Norwich again, that will be one that will hurt. Draws with West Ham, draw with Villa, draw with Tottenham. Nice result against Sheffield United, losing to Leicester. Then they pick up a little bit. Good result against Brighton, draw with Burnley away. A 5-5 draw with Watford is just ludicrous. Danny Welbeck again, 94th minute. It seems like this formation, this shape, 95th minute, Josh Brownhill scoring for Burnley. I've got to take a look at this. I've got to see the games that they've lost, or the games that they've drawn, how late have the goals been. Because this seems to be a little bit of a common occurrence here. Lost 4-0 to Arsenal, so that one doesn't really count. Beat Chelsea at home, it's a good result, very good result. Lost to Man City, drew here. They actually got the late equaliser against Sheffield United away from home. Another late winner. It seems like there's a lot happening late in these games. Diego Jota with the goal there. Dele Alli goal, doesn't matter. It gets smashed by Liverpool. Lose to Chelsea. 2-2 away at Manchester City. KDB 95th minute. It seems like there's a lot of late goals in this particular save. Lost 1-0 to Palace again. Dendonka being sent off probably doesn't help there either. And then things pick up towards the end of the season, finishing relatively strong, only losing one of their last 7 games. Defeating Watford. Draw here against Burnley. Johnny Evans, 94th minute. Oh my god, it seems like it's happened so much with these late goals. Losing 3-1 to Manchester United at Old Trafford, no real shame in that. Beat Southampton, beat Norwich, and then drew 1-1 with Everton to end the season. What happened in their Europa League journey, I wonder? So they flew through the qualifying stage as you would expect, against Frankfurt, Lugano and CSKA in Moscow. Then they faced Spartak Moscow, basically got the job done in the first leg, winning 7-1 in Moscow. No real need to play the second one if you ask me, but looks like a thrilling game in that, 5-4 to Spartak. Even then, they still would have lost on away goals, which is absolutely nuts. Then they took on Roma, lost 2-1 at home and then won 1-0 away, but obviously go out on away goals, which is a tough one to go out on, tough way to go out. And in terms of their Emirates FA Cup, guys, slightly easier run of it. Leyton Orient in the 3rd round, beat Coventry in the 4th round. That's a very comprehensive victory. 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough. Another late-ish goal for this team to concede here, 81st minute. Won the replay at Molineux though, 4-0, very convincing. They did beat Liverpool. Another late goal conceded. This is very interesting to see. They did beat Liverpool, who were the finalists in the last save that we ran. Toppled Bournemouth 1-0 and then lost to Arsenal at Wembley. Aubameyang and Nicolas Pepe getting the job done for the Gunners there. So going back to it, we're going to take a look at the stats for this formation, for this shape. So this team played 63 games. Obviously, they didn't play as many because they didn't go as far in the Europa League. Won 32 of them with a 51% win ratio. Goals scored 143, so it did score more goals than the back attack. But where this one was let down for me was that the goals conceded. It conceded 84. So the goals per game was higher, 2.27 goals per game, which is a very, very nice return. But the goals conceded per game was 1.33. However, looking at the fixture breakdown and the schedule and looking at what happened, it seemed like an unreal amount of those happened right at the death in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game, which would have really dramatically changed this save and the fortunes for Wolves in this save, if you ask me. But it's a difficult one. That's the nature of the sim. If you are in control of this team and are running it game by game, I think everyone would perform much better if there was an actual manager there. Obviously, I've just simmed the season and looked to see what happened. Let's move on to our next tactic. Third in our tactic tester list then team is Longhurst Live's Monaco Moneybags. This is from his save with Monaco, where he's done an exceptional job. Much the same in terms of back line, but everything else is slightly different here. So you've got the two fullbacks rather than wing backs, so they're going to start a little bit further back down the pitch. The two ball-playing defenders again. I think a lot of people play ball-playing defenders in this year's FM. Sweeper keeper again. A ball-winning midfielder, which is something that has not been in tactic before. Obviously, in Mainomai, he had the halfback who drops even deeper. So a ball-winning midfielder will be interesting to see how we get on. Box-to-box midfielder, advanced playmaker, which I think will suit Ruben Neves down to the ground. The winger on the right-hand side and an inverted forward on the left-hand side. Inverted forward on support, that will be interesting to see how that person gets on. And then up top, another advanced forward. A few less instructions on the team here, guys, but obviously, again, as I mentioned, if you want to check the video out, the shape out in more detail, head over to his video and check it out there. So then, Monaco Moneybags, how did this formation and tactic get on? The first thing I've already noticed is that Wolves have finished second in the Premier League. It looks like Liverpool have absolutely annihilated this season. So they finished second in the Premier League. They have qualified for the Champions League. Man City looking like they're having a poor season in this one in particular. 61 points for them. It's not great. Jimenez, top goal scorer again. Highest average rating is Adama Traore. Most assists is João Moutinho with 21. Best pass completion again is Rui Patricio. And 12 man of the matches for Adama Traore. Looks like he's had a very, very positive season. Let's open the league table and take a look at things. 76 points. It's not the highest that we've seen so far in this video, but it is enough to earn Wolves a second place in the table. Looks like they've had quite a lot of draws, maybe not even against massive teams. I'm looking at the likes of Brighton, Palace twice, Bournemouth, Norwich. Maybe the season could have gone a little bit differently and they could have closed the gap against Liverpool, but Liverpool's 94 points is just outstanding. Tottenham not finishing in the European places again. Very interesting. Burnley, Newcastle and Norwich relegated. Norwich relegated again. That's tough to see. Yeah, Liverpool only conceding 18 goals. Wow. Liverpool didn't concede against Wolves. Okay, well, we'll dive into that in a minute. So played 38, obviously. 22 wins, 10 draws and 6 losses. As I said, maybe if they could have turned some of those draws into losses, we might be looking at a slightly different table here. Goals scored 64, goals conceded 47, conceded 8 against Liverpool in 2 games. If you take Liverpool out of that, that's actually quite a good return. So over to the competitions. How do they get on in all the other competitions? Knocked out basically by Liverpool in everything. Why are Liverpool in the Europa League? What happened to Liverpool? I've got to see this, because to end up against Liverpool is absolutely disgusting. Club World Championship, UEFA Champions League. Liverpool finished third in their group behind Bayern Leverkusen and Napoli in the Champions League. They dropped down into the Europa League and absolutely decimated it by the looks of things. Went through Wolves in the semis, so that's tough. Oh, and there's still games to play. They've got the Emirates FA Cup final and the Europa League finals against Manchester United. Wow. Okay, so if we look at all competitions, knocked out in the semi-finals of the Europa League by Liverpool, I actually think that's a very good result. Liverpool shouldn't be in the Europa League. Knocked out in the Emirates FA Cup, 5th round again by Liverpool. And unlike in all these saves so far, they've actually advanced past the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup, knocked out in the semi-finals against Spurs. So I think in the whole, it's been a very successful season for this Wolves side. Obviously, they qualified for the Champions League, which is massive. They achieved the semi-final in the Europa League, semi-final in the Carabao, and 5th round in the FA Cup, losing out to Liverpool in 2 of those trophies and in the Premier League. It's a very tough one. Looks like Liverpool were very formidable in this season. So let's jump into the schedule and take a look at the game breakdown. Okay then, so Premier League, we get things up and running. A 4-1 loss at home to Liverpool, who seemed like they were a wrecking ball this season. Get things back on track. Nice win there. 3-2 loss to Southampton's a tough one to take. 2 late goals there, 82nd and 85th minute. It's very tough. 0-0 draw against Manchester United is not too bad. Beat Everton, that's nice. Draw with Norwich, but Norwich had a player sent off as well. Sometimes that definitely does galvanise teams. Sent off Andre Duda. Central attacking midfielder, doesn't make that big a difference going down to 10 men with an attacking player sent off. Nice result against West Ham, beat Villa. 2-2 draw with Tottenham again. Not too bad away at Tottenham. I think that's quite a good result. Lost to Leicester City. Put together a decent little spell here, but this is kind of where it all goes a little bit wrong here. The 3 draws in a row against not necessarily great opposition. We're seeing it again, guys. This game was a cracker in the save for the Maldini doesn't tackle tactic, finishing 5-5. Finishes 4-4 in this iteration of the save. Wolves going up to an absolute flyer, scoring 4 in the first half, but being pegged back. 70th minute, 88th minute, and then 93rd minute equaliser for Watford from Danny Welbeck. That guy Welbs. Wow. 2-2 against Bournemouth again. That's away from home, so that's not as bad. And then the draw against Palace at home, not too good. Giving away a penalty in that one as well. Back-to-back losses then against Arsenal and Chelsea, and then a very positive result at home against Man City, beating them 2-0. Looked like Man City didn't really offer a great deal, putting together a nice result of 5 wins in a row here. Man City, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Spurs and Newcastle, before getting thumped again by Liverpool. 4-0 in this one at Anfield. Even Dejan Lovren's getting on the score sheet. Then they put together an massive unbeaten run towards the end of the season in the Premier League. What's that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games unbeaten to end the season. So they put in a real run towards the end here. Nice result against Chelsea. Let's look at the draws and see when the goals were scored. Draw against Brighton, 85th minute again. 87th minute equaliser though from Wolves. Draw against Leicester, again, not too bad, and then they do really well to end the season here. I think all told, this is a very good formation. It's worked very well in the Premier League. Maybe you need to just tighten things up against Liverpool, perhaps. Obviously, the tactic was set up for the whole season, and I've just simmed the whole season. So obviously, if you are running it yourself, you can sort of play around with things. And when you do come up against a team like Liverpool, who look like they are steamrollering everybody, you can kind of tweak it a little bit to fit those needs. If we look at the Europa League, let's see how they got on. Absolutely blitzed the qualifying rounds by the looks of things. Knocked Rangers out as well. Unlucky Gerrard. Pretty easy in the group. Working their way through. Losing away at Ludogorets is a very interesting one before beating them at home in the second leg. Advancing comfortably past CSKA Moscow 3-0. Interesting to knock out Inter Milan actually. Winning 3-0 at home and then losing 2-1 away is a very, very good result. Raul Jimenez scoring from the penalty spot in the away leg there. Godin being sent off may have made a big difference in this one, but it looks like Wolves were already 2-0 up, so very good there. And then old nemesis Liverpool. 4-3 in the leg at Anfield, so 3 away goals is absolutely massive. Jota and Dendoncker on the score sheet for Wolves there, but then losing 3-1 at Molineux. Fabinho and Bobby Firmino getting on the score sheet there, taking things for Liverpool. One final thing to check on then, guys, is the Emirates FA Cup. Whoopsie. Let's load up the FA Cup. Looks like they played Liverpool relatively early on, going through against Swansea 2-0, going through against Brighton 1-0, and then coming up against Liverpool again. Divock Origi getting it. Always seems to be Divock Origi against Wolves, and I don't understand why. Divock Origi with the goal, 91st minute, doing the job for Liverpool. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. If we go back to my stats, so for this formation, Wolves played 66 games this season, winning 43 of them, with an impressive win ratio of 65%. They scored 130 goals, which is very good, with an average goal per game of just under 2, which is 1.97. Goals conceded was 69 goals, which averaged out across the season as 1.04 goals conceded per game, which is a very good ratio again. As you can see though, it's been a very successful season for Wolves. If I was managing this team, I'd actually think I've done superbly. To come up against Liverpool in the Europa League, you don't expect that. Liverpool in the Cup again, it happens. It's the FA Cup draw. You're gonna have to play at least one big team to get to the final, you would like to think. And then knocked out in the Carabao Cup. I don't think Wolves actually care. I don't think the Wolves care too much about the Carabao Cup. But getting to the semi-finals, not too bad at all. So that rounds off this one. Let's get into the next one. And finally, guys, we have RDF's King of the Underdogs. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Underdog. I'm running a save on my channel with Bath City, so you should go and check that out. Have a little plug. Go and check that out. Obviously, I'm taking Bath City from Conference South all the way up to the Premier League. We are in the Premier League. It's going really well. So obviously, I am a big fan of the Underdog myself. Here we have a sweeper keeper, wing backs, two central defenders on defend, a ball-winning midfielder playing in front of the right centre-back, interestingly. Wingers on each side, a Mazzala, an attacking midfielder, and a... what's a PF? Pressing forward. Okay. Obviously in the 4-4-1-1 DM asymmetric style. It's going to be interesting to see how Wolves actually adapt to this one. Obviously, it is going to be their main formation. It is going to be the main one that is trained, obviously. Lots of instructions on here. Make sure you do go and check out RDF's video. Link will be in the description. Okay then, King of the Underdogs, and Wolves are a slight underdog in terms of the Premier League. First thing I notice is that Wolves finished 4th, which is a very good return. 80 points, securing them the 4th spot. It looks very tight at the top of the table. 85 for Man City, 85 for Arsenal, so Man City winning it on goal difference is mad. Manchester United just 1 point back on 84, and then Wolves on 80. The main thing that I have noticed in this one though is the capitulation almost of Liverpool in comparison to some of the other saves. Qualifying for the Europa League with 12 losses in the Premier League is absolutely nuts. First, in terms of player stats, so Raul Jimenez, top goal scorer, 41 goals in all competitions is absolutely crazy. Earns him the highest average rating as well. Most assists, João Moutinho. Most player of the matches awards, Raul Jimenez with 10, which is unsurprising for a man who scored 41 goals. If we open up the Premier League table then, Wolves has a very good points return actually of 80 points, 25 wins, 5 draws and 8 losses. Who are the 8 losses to? Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Palace, Bournemouth, Watford. I wonder if that's that chunk of games around Christmas that always seems to be the tricky one. Scoring 80 goals is very impressive. Conceding 34 again, also very impressive. Positive 46 on the goal difference. Let's flick over to all the competitions and see how they got on. Knocked out in the semi-final of the Europa League by Lyon. That's not too bad again. Knocked out in the 3rd round by Manchester United in the FA Cup, and knocked out in the 4th round by Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. As I've said though, in these domestic cup competitions, you're going to come up against a big side. It kind of comes down to who they field, how you get on. It's just one of those things. You're always going to play a big team to get to the final, and looks like they've done that earlier on in the campaign than some of the other teams. We will break down the Europa League and see how they got on. No big surprise like Liverpool dropping down. So it'll be interesting to see how they got on. If we jump into the schedule, first things first, we will take a look at their Premier League run. Starting the season very, very well. Defeating Liverpool, 3 wins on the spin. Nice result against Newcastle. Beat Southampton. 1-1 draw with Jimenez. With Manchester United. Jimenez getting the goal there. Really nice little run, nice unbeaten run to start the season all the way down. First loss again coming in this game against Tottenham. Late goals going in, 81st, 87th, but then Adama Traore trying to get one back in the 91st didn't work there. Put together a nice little run, beating Sheffield United, beating Leicester, beating Brighton, drawing with Burnley, 0-0 is not great. And then yeah, this run of 4 defeats basically cost them the title, I'm going to say. Because you pick up some points out of these, especially in the 2 home games against Watford and Palace, and Wolves win the league. So lost 2-0 here to Watford, lost 1-0. Callum Wilson, Johnny getting sent off in the first half. That's always going to put you on the back foot. Losing to Crystal Palace, another sending off, costing the team here. Oscar Burr, not good. And then losing 3-2 to Arsenal. This is the season-defining thing in the Premier League for me. Pepe, David Luiz scoring, wow. And then it looks like an unreal run towards the end of the season with just losses coming against Liverpool, Man City and Manchester United, as you kind of would expect as big hitting teams. A good result against Chelsea, a draw against Man City, another one to look at, draw against Burnley. They equalised, so that's not too bad. And then just winning out. It looks like the formation's done really well here, very positive in terms of the wins. It's just this 4-game stretch that's really doing it for me in the Premier League. If we turn on the Europa League, let's see how they got on. Blitz through qualifying as you would expect, winning all the way through. Difficult group actually against Frankfurt, Trabzonspor and Roma. It's probably the most difficult group we've seen so far. Then they go through first knockout round, draw 1-1 at Feyenoord, and then win 4-2 at home, going through comfortably there. Then they absolutely batter Celtic, 4-0 on aggregate, comfortable wins. Go through against Bruges, who is a team that we've seen Wolves struggle against in a previous save. Go through there. They win 2-1 at home to Lyon, and then lose 1-0 away, going out on away goals. Memphis Depay in the 94th minute, stopping them going into the final, where they would have faced Bayern Leverkusen. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. Let's turn on the Carabao in the Emirates FA Cup and see how they got on. So, losing 3-1 to Man City in the Carabao, and then losing 2-0. Igalo getting both the goals for Manchester United in the FA Cup. So now I've got my notepad out again for the final time. So RDF's King of the Underdogs, they played 62 matches. They won 41 of them with an impressive win ratio of 66%. Goals scored 132. Goals conceded was the best out of all 4 of the tactics so far, in just 50 conceded. So goals per game was 2.12 goals per game, and they conceded 0.80 goals per game. Very impressive ratio in the defensive end of the pitch. Okay guys, so that is the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been something very different. I just wanted to give one final shout out to all 4 of the creators who give me permission to use their tactics in this video. It's been great. It's been really good to actually see what other people within the community do, and take a look at their formations and stuff like that, and see how they all get on. Obviously, I'm going to link all of them below, all of their channels and the videos where you can get the formations for yourself, and also some of their socials will be right at the top of my description, so make sure you go and check them out. That is it for me today, guys, though. I will be back tomorrow with another episode of Started From the Bottom, my Bath City save, so hopefully I'll see you guys there.